do you know how to swim?
I certainly do, and I love doing so. How about you, Aida? Do you know how to swim?
Yes, I learned how to swim at the age of 5 or 6, I think. And it's been a very, very valuable lesson. But the thing is, right, do you know how to float properly?
I do.
You say that with much hesitation.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
The important thing is learning how to swim, but also learning how to float. And this is the topic that we will talk about today with our guests, who will give us some interesting insights on making safe spaces in swimming pools or any body of water through aquatic education. But before we get to that, here are some of our top stories for it on the Star Online and in the Star. Ahead of the ASEAN Summit, we are making sure that everything runs smoothly and accordingly for our delegates. Also, in Langkawi, Lima opens, and that should be very exciting. And one of your stories, Farid, about the disquiet among hillside homes in Ampang. That's a never-ending problem, isn't it?
Yes, there have been concerns about more hillside properties coming up on the hillsides in Ampang Jaya.
Yes, so be sure to read that in Star Metro today and Star Online. Farid, let's get to our topic at hand. We have a we have the Swimming Teachers Association of Malaysia, STAM founder, Miss Wong Foong Inn, also known as Yin today, who will tell us about the importance of getting the proper certifications as a swimming teacher, as a swimming coach, and a life-saving educator in the pool or any body of water. Welcome, Yin.
Thank you, Aida and Farid, for having me today. And,
yes, very excited to have you.
Thank you so much. The first time when I got into being a swimming teaching at that time, it was around 2002. So that was there was an incident.
Right, tell us about the incident, because from what you told me before, you encountered a situation where you had to save someone's life. This was a young boy?
Yeah, he's 9 years old. So what happened was we were doing our assessment, the free assessment. We always do assessments before we actually categorize our students into respective level. So what happened was he was playing at the other end and he drowned, almost near drowning. So when I went over there and we started performing CPR and revived him. So I realized that as a swimming teacher, we are always at swimming pool, is always in the water, and there's always deep end and things like that. So I realized that we need to have life-saving certification from and also CPR. It is so important if you have that knowledge, because at all time we are actually at the a situation that you may need to go and save somebody and also perform CPR.
Correct, because it's more than just swimming. And I did a story, which is in Star Metro, a couple of weeks ago, on the legal responsibilities that aquatic educators must uphold, particularly the duty of care when teaching young students or teaching anyone, actually. So to teach swimming is one thing, but to save a life when something wrong happens, that's the most important. Let me just share the drowning incidents in 2023 and 2024, and this was provided by the Fire and Rescue Department. We had a total of 315 drowning incidents in 2023 and 325 last year. And these drowning incidents mainly took place at the sea, the sewer, river or water canals, lakes, mining pools, waterfalls, and rapids. Now, all these places, right? Okay, aside from the sea, which sometimes may have lifeguards, whereas the others, there are no lifeguards there. So, this is what I mentioned to you, Yin, earlier. In Sarawak, it was the highest figure of 36 drowning cases in the rivers and water canals, and 43 last year. So 36 in 2023 and 43 last year. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because in Sarawak there's all these features like water features, the rivers, they are quite rapid, and that's a lot of canals and things like that. So that's the reason why that once you're caught off guarded, it's just like flash flood when it comes, and you just you're not aware of it. So this all the accidents may happen. So
Right.
it could be the one of the main reason. And if you learn later on, we will share about oiti mate. That
Right.
may help a lot more people when they are actually caught in the situation.
Okay, Yin, you founded the Swimming Teachers Association of Malaysia
Yeah.
in 2015.
Yes.
Right. And you also set up Aquatic Star Academies in Berhad. Tell us about how and why you founded the Swimming Teachers Association.
Okay. When I started my own academy in 2003, and realized that there weren't really any legal regulation, so I just started just like that. But because of the incidents I saved and did the CPR itself, I realized that we need to have a proper additional certification other than just swimming teaching itself. Because I'm a physical educator degree, so I know teaching methods, and you need to have a proper teaching methods. So how do you acquire that? You have to have a proper swimming teacher certification.
Right.
So I'm making a point for my academy that all my teacher must have minimum basic teacher certification at that time. So which our prerequisite is bronze medallion, which is life saving, and also CPR. So that's how I started. But along the road, I realized that I've interviewed, my challenges most was to get certified swimming teacher. To get one club to another school is not a problem at that time. But to get manpower which is certified was my main obstacle at that time. So what we did was we actually, thank God that we met our late Mr. Fu, who is our Singapore Swimming Teachers Association. So he came over and start certifying all my swimming teachers. It's not easy because he is, Singapore coming here, and then how often can he comes.
Correct,
So
yeah.
at the end, he actually trained us to become a tutor itself.
I see.
So because that's the point that I said, and realized that swimming teaching is you need to be taught, and there's a lot of things that you need to go through, especially theory and practical session.
Correct.
But
There is-
most importantly
yeah.
is the practical internship attachment.
That is interesting, because when I interviewed you for the story that I did, I went to your home and Yin has certificates from floor to ceiling. Or well, actually you shared
Queen size bed.
all the certs that covered her queen size bed. Can you share with us what are those important certs that you have?
Sure. Okay, I realized along all these 2 over decades, we realized that a lot of publics, I would say, even the schools and everyone, do not know the difference of the certification itself. About 30 years ago, I also used the life-saving instructor cert. At that time, there is nowhere that I can get a swimming teacher certification. So we also teach in that way. But because we are physical education teacher, we realize that we need to be specialized in a certain field in order to be more effective and safe teacher. So that's how I started with all that. Now, there are FINA and ASUM competition coaching certification. So
What are those?
These are the coaches that teaches a swim team, a competition team. So there is also a certification at aquatic teaching for infant and toddler, baby and preschool. So those are actually, you are teaching babies, 6 months old. I even started with 2 months old in the bathtub.
Now that requires a different sort of certification, correct?
Definitely. So
Right.
there's also people teaching people with disability. So that's special needs. So there's another certification you need. But the most importantly is that swimming teaching certification, which is learn to swim. So there are many categories that you need to know what type of different certification. You can't be teaching learn to swim when you're holding a coaching certification.
That is very important, because let's say if either one of us or anyone wants to sort of relearn some of our swimming skills, right? Maybe you can tell us, what do we need to look out for in the swimming teacher or coach? Like, is it okay if we ask them, hey, may I see some of your certs before I engage you to be my swimming teacher?
I think
Is that right?
I think nowadays, since we have educated for past 2 over decades, there are a lot of parents are actually asking that, but
That's good.
less than I think. Beginning the first two 1.5 decades, you really have nobody. It's just convenient. Oh, you can teach me. That's it. Nobody really bothered to ask about certification itself. But I think it's okay. But you may not need to. You just need to go and see how they actually started with they do the assessment with you. They need to know whether you are comfortable, you are safe. So we do an initial assessment, aquatic assessment, and see how comfortable you are in the water. We can't be putting a very fearful child in a group of, just because his age is the same age as 12. But he's 12, but he has a phobia. It's totally different. Same goes with the age of maybe you're 40 over. Same. So in my academy, I actually put them regardless of their age group. I put them to learn the basic survival skills in your ability. So I have children 3.5 into 20 hours, adult to 40 hours, and into one class, because you learn the same thing. It's just the progress is different.
I like that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I like that you have, stressed that there's a difference between teaching swimming and teaching life saving. Because I took swimming lessons when I was a kid, and I remember what I was told. My trainer told me that, just because you can swim doesn't mean that you can save someone. He
That's
said that
right.
if you see someone drowning, doesn't mean you should go there, jump in and save that person, because it takes a completely different skills, and that's, you have not been taught how to do that. So he said the best thing you could do is probably throw a floating object and that to that person. That would be better, a better option. Yeah.
Very wise.
That's right, yeah.
Guidance.
And according to the Selangor Fire and Rescue Department chief, one Muhammad Razali, one Ismail, when we asked him what were some of the reasons of these drowning incidents, his reply was not knowing how to swim, or this person has a lack of water rescuing skills or life-saving skills, ignoring safety measures such as not wearing a life jacket when riding a boat, for example, organizing or doing water activities in dangerous areas such as choppy seas, rivers with strong currents, etc. Panic or fatigue when in the water can also cause victims to lose control, and no parental supervision when children are playing in water areas. Yin, this part where he said about this, I found this interesting. Panic or fatigue when in the water can result in the person losing control. Now, my question is, let's say the swimming teacher or coach has a separate certification in life saving, CPR, bronze medallion. What happens when there is an incident, someone is drowning, but the coach or teacher freezes or panics? In your experience, have you come across these situations?
Not really, but I heard of it because they do. It's just like not everybody, when you train to become doing your CPR, you've got your certification, you can actually do it. And when I did it, and to be frank, during that time, you can hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, you press the stomach, you let the water comes out," And then another person will say, "Hey, use the oxygen tank. The oxygen tank is here," but the boy is not breathing. How can you use the oxygen tank? So you got to be really clear and know what you are doing. So I only heard one person at the back. They're saying, "Continue with your CPR. Continue with your CPR." And that's what that's what happened, and we revived and managed to save him. So same thing like water safety and all that. If you have not confidence, you don't go and save them. Throw any flotation
raft or
device,
flotation device,
anything
yeah.
you can bring along. Just have, that is most important. So there's not two victims, it's just one victim, but you tried your best. So not everybody can actually do that. But what we do during our swimming lessons is we do a lot of simulation. Okay, like we create currents with our boards. Okay, we let our children, because basic is we want them to have personal survival skills. So you're going to face that when you do. You can do your back float, but what about when you are caught in the current and waves? So what do you do? So we actually make some simulation during our classes itself.
Okay.
Nothing like simulation.
Right. I have done some of my due diligence at certain swimming schools in Klang Valley.
Okay.
What you're telling us today about the importance of having these certifications, not all of the schools place this importance though, from what I checked when I asked questions about certifying the teachers. Do they need these life-saving certs to teach the students? Some of that reply, actually no, that is optional.
Okay, that's where the Swimming Teachers Association comes in. Actually, since the beginning itself, and in 2006, where we become our own tutor, we try to educate swimming teachers itself at that time to take. But it's not easy because, like you were saying, right, life-saving instructor cert, you teach lifesaver, and then I also ask a lot of so-called state swimmers and all that, and they will say, "Oh, I'm a national swimmer," and things like that. So it's not easy to convince them to take the certification itself.
Why is that?
Don't really know. Maybe they felt that they can swim, they have gone through all the training, then they can actually impart it. But teaching methodology is a totally different thing. So it's instant educating. It's just like that. From there, we start educating. So I educated the instructor. I start educating the school. So we are one of the pioneer who actually was in 2005. Before that, I realized that there are a lot of schools who doesn't take students 7 years and below.
And why is that?
I think they're not confident, and since do not have a proper swimming teacher certification, so they are not confident to actually take that age group itself. So we have been trained, and at that time, sadly, because of the 2004 tsunami itself, and my company actually bloomed. So we started teaching a lot of kindergartens. We are in demand, and in kindergartens itself. So that's one of the most rewarding part of my journey, to be frank, and this is one of the most important to me. I felt.
I'm interested in the part where Yin said that you simulate the waves and all, because when I was a kid, I began attending lessons when I was 6. And one of the things I was told was that you are swimming now in a pool, but if swimming in a pool is different than swimming in the ocean, swimming in the river. So I was always told that even though I can swim, I cannot simply throw caution to the wind when I go to the beach, when I go to river, because these are different environments.
Different currents,
completely different setup. So I like the part about when you said about the you simulate the waves,
So not only that part we do, Aquatic Academy at the time, we also start doing a lot of water safety workshop. So there is this like a kindergarten actually invited us in PD Royal Yacht Club. So I actually did an educating on the part of you have to know the sea. There's rip currents. Okay, how do you overcome and get out of rip currents? Things like that. And I also do a lot of assessment on and showing them that what is important, like say flotation is very important. Most of them do not know how to float and very scared of floating. So these are the things that we do. Not only for kindergartens, we actually also did it in a public listed company. So they have, instead of inviting or every time the bomba and the chemical, whatever, they actually invited us because water safety actually starts from home. That's how I started in the kindergarten.
That's right, yeah.
Did the workshop.
Because when I interviewed the Life Saving Society president, Lim, he said that having the life-saving skills doesn't necessarily drive you to become a lifeguard. No, any one of us can have a life-saving certification, right? I, for example, have taken a hands-only CPR course. That was eye-opening, really, because doing that procedure is not easy at all. And we were practicing on the mannequin, the top half of the mannequin, and that procedure where it mimics doing the CPR on a human. So there is a sort of like a pilot light that comes on when you are doing it correctly. So we don't come with pilot lights. So when you do CPR, you will end up breaking the person's ribs because it's a very tactile procedure, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I will say firsthand because I've actually revived a boy. And I thought he's quite tall, and I thought he was older than 12 years old. So at that time, when there's adrenaline rush and things like that, you don't feel the tired.
Right.
Like you say, it's really taxing. So I just did a normal CPR, but I did not rupture his rib, because for children you need to use one hand.
Yeah.
Babies is two fingers, so there are differences. And
Yes,
things like
there's
that.
a separate
Correct.
CPR for infants as well.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. But like I say, firsthand, I've tried it. I mean, I've did it, so I can actually share. So, but not a lot of people can actually do that. But
That's right.
it is very tiring. When I send the boy to the clinic, I just like lembik all the way. Just like you say, just totally no more strength. So yeah, it's pretty taxing.
Yeah. Maybe you can tell us in the early days of setting up STEM, Swimming Teachers Association, and the Aquatic Association, Aquatic Academy, sorry, yes. What were the challenges and resistance and some of the gaps in the system? When I say gaps in the system, because based on story that I wrote, when I spoke to a lawyer who represents STEM, he said there is a lack of laws and regulations in terms of governing the swimming industry and the life-saving industry when it comes to water activities.
Okay, I think the Life Saving Society and all that, they are doing a very good job and all that, they also make sure everybody have CPR and things like that. But regulation part, yes, at that time we don't have any, and I mean till to date I don't think so. We still have it. So I realized that I want to make a difference for my academy itself. So that's why I make sure all my teachers have basic swimming teachers certification with the prerequisite of the life saving cert and the CPR. So from then onward, so educating more, you as a teacher and itself, before you want to implement some, just for example, we just did oiti mate. We're going to do it for the children.
What is oiti mate? Can you
Oiti
tell us?
mate is actually a Japanese technique of survival skill during accidental time. So it's basically, oiti mate means you just back float and wait for help. If there's any floating device nearby, like empty mineral bottles, anything. And actually, if you'll be surprised that all our shoes, especially our Crocs, can actually help you to float.
Really?
Yeah, and
you know that?
bags.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, and bags. So what happened in 2014, if not mistaken, in the tsunami, they did a lot of research under the Society of Water Safety and Survival Research from Japan. They did a lot of research. So during this tsunami in 2014, there are a lot of kindergartens actually safe when there's a flash flood goes up to about 6 feet, and because they are exposed to this particular technique, okay, they actually use their bag. So if you're not exposed to that particular technique or introduced to, you find that the bag at the back is very buoyant. So what happens is when it's too buoyant, you'll be face down. How are you going to get up?
Right.
So that's another thing that I want to also advise a lot of all of you. Okay, doesn't mean that you are tall. That means the water is just waist deep. You're safe in the water, because once you face down, accidentally trip and face down, is buoyancy. The buoyancy is very new, and then if you are so scared of water start going into your nose, you get panic, and drowning is silence. So don't assume that they all can stand, they are all adults, no problem. But it's not true. Okay? It can drown a person because you are like doing a skydiving, the feel of the buoyancy, and top it up. Because there's a lot of incidents I see. The mom will be on the phone playing there and all that. The child will be playing at the wading pool. It's only less than 2 feet water.
They can still drown.
That boy was just playing around, and then he just fall flat face down. And he can't even stand up.
Gosh, that's scary.
I've seen this happen firsthand.
Really?
I was on holiday in Port Dickson. I was swimming in a pool. So there was a party around the pool. It was very noisy. There was a lot of music. And then this one small child, I think I was 14 at the time. And there was this one boy, I think he was 4 or 5. He just jumped in. And no one saw him. I mean, he didn't die, luckily. But no one saw him because it was so noisy. and he was like struggling in the water until eventually his father, who happened to be walking around it, suddenly saw him and just straight jump into the pool. Luckily,
Gosh.
he managed to catch that in time. So yeah, she's just, this happened. It's scary.
A lot. I've seen, because we are there all the time. There's too many that we see. So what we do, mother is just you know. But that is if you see. But there are situations that you don't even notice. They actually drown. That
That's
is
right.
the case. You know what I
I
mean?
think that's a lot of the cases.
Yeah, so these are the situations. So when you take our swimming teachers course itself, we will teach you not only the methodology, we will teach you how to class control, how to observe this kind of situation. You don't allow your child, okay, if you have 5 children, 6 children and all that, you do one thing and your eyes is only at this child. And how about that other child there? If you are not trained, this child may be just playing, or he's just trying his face down float, for example.
I've seen this because when I attended one of your certification classes, I saw how Yin was on the ball on each instructor because a particular instructor may take their eyes off a certain child. You have a group of children there, right? And it can happen where the teacher takes his or her eyes off a certain child, and then you hope that nothing untoward happens, but it does happen.
I mean, we so far never, because we teach our swimming teacher how to class control and how you never turn your back. You never turn your back. Once you turn your back, we fail you actually. So you have to have class control. Children likes to play. So I always tell them, this children is like a bushfire. You allow him to do whatever he wants. So child A, then child B, child C, that you'll be out of control. So because we always put in the words duty of care into our class, so all the students is under your duty of care. So why that is so important is because then you make sure you equip yourself, to properly certify how to go about and how to prevention is better than cure, right?
Absolutely. You have interviewed more than 200 swimming instructors in Klang Valley, is that right? Or has that number grown?
Oh, definitely grown, but not really. It's definitely grown at that time because we were looking for, my challenges was certified swimming teacher. So majority do not really have. Majority is holding a instructor, swimming, life-saving instructor.
Right, so majority of them don't have professional aquatic or swimming teacher certifications. That is scary. Can you tell us what is the difference between a lifeguard, a swim coach, and a certified aquatic educator?
Okay, like just now I shared earlier on, right, the different certificates here. So lifeguard instructor teach lifesaver, bronze medallion, and a lifeguard. So if you have a FINA coach, a swim competition coach, then you teach the swim team competition. So you have a swimming teaching certification, then you teach learn to swim as a 0 to all the other strokes itself. And then people with disability, then you teach the people with disability. Infant and toddler, then you teach the infant and toddler. Of course, last time people say, my dad will throw the baby into the pool. Yeah, it's like that. Oh, they will throw. Nowadays, you try throwing and see. You know what I mean? No need. You don't need to. If you have a proper certification, there are proper methods to go about how to familiarize your child since baby in the bathtub during the
Correct.
the first
Yeah.
month is every day. So.
As the saying goes, throw them in the deep end of the pool.
Oh, well, to be frank, okay, during the situation, I do get a lot of students, when they come to me, they really have phobia because they go to classes and they ask them to jump into the deep pool. Just don't need to, that's not the way to build confidence for a child.
Okay, so what you're saying is we don't necessarily have to let them feel the deep end of the pool. Okay.
Don't need to. It don't need to be the hardcore anymore. Last time we were like, go laps and things like that,
Yeah.
So you don't need to, because there are really proper certification methods that actually guide you to it very properly and
That's
safely, most important. Yeah, so you were saying about, how do I go back, and then we go all over. Once I get into other part, I will just get into it. So how does Aquatic start? So we were educating a lot more other swimming teachers to take the certification along the road, but it's pretty slow. Okay, so realize that why not forming an NGOs that we can, that's where Swimming Teachers Association comes in, so that we have a mission and vision, and we have more people. We have so many of our swimming, so-called our founders and senior teachers are already there and dedicated to also want to educate more swimming teachers. So that's where we started to form Swimming Teachers Association of Malaysia, hoping that we can actually do it in a wider scale. Because, Aquatic Science Academy is a so-called, people say it's a business, it's a number hard. So if you want to educate something, you say, are you sure?
Right.
There's always has this part of it that people feel. But with an association, NGO, we just want to educate swimming teaching itself. So that's one of our main mission.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how so like I said, it took a while to form until 2015. Actually, it's harder to form Swimming Teachers Association than my own company. So you can see company blooming out, swimming,
Right,
all over. But association is not that easy actually. But we have grown. I'm really happy with what what we have done. We have made ourselves recognized in a lot of ways. Even part of our mission is to recognize in worldwide. So we were invited to do a lot of workshop in Taiwan, in even Hong Kong itself, and share what we do. So the best thing is that Taiwan actually started the babies and the people with disability teaching very much slower than us itself. So they invited us to share because we were teaching in a Tarana special needs kindergarten schools itself. Oh, that was really rewarding, and you really see a lot of experiences with the people with disability. But we don't have a pool that can cater for it.
Do you need a special pool?
Yes, because the temperature helps, and then the entering the pool helps a lot.
I see.
Because
Okay.
some of them can't even move, and they have cerebral palsy, and they are also not only that. I also just recently faced this situation. There's this Machi. She needs to go to aquatherapy, but she's so afraid of water. But she can't do any other hydrotherapy. I mean, the other therapy on land. So she has to go in. So she actually hired me and bring her into the pool and just do exercise in the pool. But I asked her, why you don't do it outside? Because you once a week is not enough for you. There's no pool. Either the pool is too deep, the steps is not suitable. How can I
Yeah.
climb now?
Yeah.
So these are the things that I really hope that we can have more this accessibility pool for all these people with disability, or not disability, people who has physical problems.
Right. Let's talk about water safety in the schools. Why do you think this matters, and how do you see it saving more lives?
Okay, not every school has a compulsory swimming license. So in 2013, if not mistaken, we are one of the pioneer to have to make swimming teaching as a PE compulsory subject. So in Asia Pacific that time, and we find that all this will help, because our first topic or first module will be water safety, water survival skill. So regardless of who, so we actually have mixture of but because it's a classroom, so you have the same age. But if not everybody will have that group to know how to swim, you learn how to survive, most importantly. So that helps, because once you are able to survive, that's definitely going to cut down a lot of drowning cases and things like that. That's what I felt that. And then along the road, we realized that so is public school, international school, public school, international school. I always have this thing. How about our own government school?
Yeah.
So I have this thought many years ago that why don't we do that? But of course, I always have, maybe I'm wrong. I always have concept to go into government school, and government is very difficult because it's all Malaysia, whole thing, right? So I can understand. But I always have this thought, why don't we do a pilot project? You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are willing to sponsor, other than just sponsor, the normal sponsorship and other things. Why don't you sponsor the water safety skills for the children itself? So I was having this thought, and of course, I still hope that we can do a pilot project, because I'm sure once a pilot project can be done and achieved and successfully, then you can plan for a bigger scale.
Yep.
That's my dream.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we hope that that will eventually come true, and because it's what you see as aquatic literacy, right? For the future. Back to the Japanese technique of oiti mate. How do you see this relevant in Malaysia with our increasing flooding incidents?
Very. Okay, Oiti Mate, actually our Life Saving Society of Malaysia has brought it in and introduced to us. So we were involved in that. Well, part of our mission is to work together with the other NGOs also. So we have been doing that for a long time. So if we can actually educate more, ultimately anybody can learn to become so-called the instructor, they call it. It can be a teacher, mom, whoever. You know, of course, children can't be the instructor, but you can actually expose them, because that's why the kindergartens in Japan actually survive, right? Because they have that simulation, that feel. So we want to educate more. We want to spread as many as possible. We had this in the first conference in Sabah, Kota Kinabalu. They in the University Science Sabah, I think. And we have 100 hours in one time to be, educated. And in the sea itself, we also did one in the Thai University for our instructor or whoever we invite, And we also did another one in the marine, in the sea itself. So what we actually do is that we have a lot of simulation. At the boat, we fell down from the boat, and how would you do and all that. So these are the things that you simulate. And in Japan, they actually wear kimono. Very expensive kimono.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
they wear that for?
They just to do a simulation that
Wow.
wearing a kimono also can actually float. Anything can
That's
float.
interesting. I
So just
didn't know
try
that.
it, just
Yeah.
try it. But be careful also. That's why where we comes in to actually guide you step by step. Because when you have a very flotation Crocs shoes, for example, it's really float up. So if you're not comfortable with back float, when you just fall back, your legs will come up first. Your head will be like, you can get start getting panic.
Yeah.
So how do you don't let people get panic? Like say just now, panic and fatigue. The people drown because of panic. Because for a person, you will not drown even though you are not a floater. When you float, you say you can float, right, Farid? So when you float, is your leg down or you literally floating very well?
I mean, like, what's it called? When
You're wading in the pool.
You are trading water.
Yeah, I think it was called water trading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, water trading.
Okay. Water trading is another water safety and survival skills. But flotation is actually you just float and don't move.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So when you float and don't move, for guys, especially with muscles, you don't float as well as ladies because we have a lot
I
more.
noticed that. Yeah.
Really? Oh,
I
yeah,
noticed
okay.
that. Yeah.
That's better than
Right.
men's. But anyway, so when you
That's true.
float, there's a lot of muscular, like footballers and basketballers. They actually their leg will sink. But there is a way we will teach you is how you move your center of gravity or buoyancy in line. It's okay. You may be floating this way, but what 2% of your body should be out of water? Which part do you need to be out of water to be safe?
Your
Nose and
face.
mouth?
Yeah. That's all you need. So if your nose is mouth, if you don't panic, you can be floating like that and shift your center of gravity with your hands. We will show you how, and you will be floating. And you see when you shift your hands, the center of gravity and buoyancy, your legs will start coming out. You may not be floating like me. I can read books, but I also can show my students that I can actually sing when I tense my muscles.
So we should relax.
Always.
Okay.
Always. It's a must.
Relax in the water.
Yeah. If you don't relax, you start panicking and all
That's
that.
right,
That's where
yeah.
the problems come in. You may roll over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why Oitimati said just back float. Once you have the simulation, if you can find any flotation device to help you, just stay calm and wait. What to do?
I find that back floating very relaxing. I mean, the last few times recently where I went swimming, and after doing, I only know how to breaststroke. I need to learn my freestyle. But after doing a few laps and you feel a little fatigue, you just float on your back and just float and just let the water carry you, or wherever in
Yeah.
the lane. But
So-
it's very relaxing.
Yeah. So, but then a lot of people don't like. There's this saying, like, turn turtle.
Right.
So not a lot of people actually find back foot comfortable at all. In fact, those fearful ones, it's harder to teach them the back foot first. It's much more easier to front foot when you're holding it. They don't feel that, I'm looking out at nowhere and things like that. So that's where
Understandable.
you need to actually teach them. But there's always ways to overcome and give them a lot more confidence. If you don't come for swimming teaching, you don't have this progressive teaching method, you just go and then they will start grabbing you here and
Yeah.
how are they gonna, they start tense up anyway.
Have you had any student who considered you their flotation device and just grab onto you for dear life that you felt it was a bit disconcerting?
Okay, for that is very common, but the most the part that you will feel anything is that when they start holding you, pulling your hair, biting you,
Gosh.
because they're so scared. Because especially you do back foot, right? If you don't, okay, the biting part is with the people with disability part, but you do get a lot of them will be holding you very tight until
They're
so
panicking
always,
in the water.
of course.
Okay.
So you don't need to do that. There's methods. If you come for swimming teacher courses, there are methods to go progressively.
Yeah.
If this child is this scared, you do this step. If this child is more comfortable, you do that step. So this is where the swimming teaching comes in.
Yeah.
It's so important.
So clearly there are no shortcuts.
No.
It is a time consuming process to do it properly,
Yes.
to avoid someone drowning under your care and to avoid yourself from drowning, because that can happen as well.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I mean, that happens before. But if you have take the swimming teacher course itself, that I'm very sure that wouldn't happen in that way if you follow the procedure. But I won't. I won't. I mean, accidents do happen, so I'm not going to touch that part. But I want to touch in the sense that you don't need to create phobia for the child. The poor child comes to you for swimming lessons. If you don't have a proper progressive method to go overcome his fear, you create phobia for another child, and that's where I get a lot that time.
Yeah.
So you need to, well, when you know the procedure and do it right, it's just so smooth.
Do you have, okay, you said you know how to swim. Do you have any water phobias, Farid?
No, I think when I was a kid, my mom's concern was I was too eager to jump in. So the reason why she wanted me to take lessons, because she said you were gonna jump in no matter what. So it's better that you are prepared. So
Okay, this is
that's
where I
good.
want to
Yeah,
come
that's
in.
true.
Because in our swimming teaching, one of the most important skill that we teach the swimming teacher is proper entry and exit. Because the child is comfortable, they do not know the deep end. They just like you say the mother. You know what I mean? So in our lessons, it's very important proper entry and exit. So we actually enhance that part itself. Yeah.
Let's ask this question, Farid. If Yin could rewrite Malaysia's water safety policy, what would that be? What would you change if you could?
Okay, I have this thought, but then I felt that I don't want to change anything throughout my journey now. I felt that because of what has gone through that I've faced, I made a difference for my school, and that's where lead to Swimming Teachers Association to a widespread our mission to have proper swimming teacher certification. So I won't change that. If I've changed that, that means everything is in place smoothly. Then I wouldn't go for the next. I wouldn't know that's another baby. That's another people with disability course. I won't equip myself too, because it's just
Right, it doesn't stop. You continue learning.
Because that's one thing. But why I won't want to change is because all these things, the situation that I face, made us change. It's just like, okay, there's no shortcut, like we say, right? So if a lot of people take this as nowadays, a lot of people of them take this as a job, a business. Okay, if you are a passionate swimming teacher, you want to be, then you go and get an enhanced. Make sure your aquatic education do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would not change anything, to be frank. But I hope at that time, maybe we can have more proper swimming teaching courses. Make sure there is, like going through all the proper process. I enhance onto the practical internship, because I ask you go for theory, practical session for only courses. What you learn most.
Yeah, they need to spend time in the pool.
The internship guidance,
Yeah.
you know, that you learn. It's just like doctor, okay lah, 2 years kan. For us, it's not.
Yeah, they go
it's,
through their residency.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing, right?
So-
Because someone's life is in your hands.
Correct.
Right.
So,
What what is STAM's vision for the next 5 to 10 years?
I think still what we have been doing and continue doing, because there's still a lot more. So I'm not going to go into too far a vision. We'll still go back to our mission, because I think that we need a lot more to get our missions need to be more widespread. Okay, so we really hope that more swimming teacher or whoever is interested, if this is your profession, come and take the swimming teacher certification with us. You know, and you will be recognized. Trust me, we already have. Once you take our certification, you can teach in Taiwan, Australia, you know, in other countries and things like that. So it's recognized. I would say worldwide lah, but recognized in that way.
That's good to know.
So yeah, then I think that's one thing. Another thing is that continue educating and work together with other NGOs to, like what we are doing, you know, Oitimate and things like that. So we are looking forward to collaborate with maybe in universities and all that, to be a widespread a little bit more. And then very happy to hear one of our Oitimate instructor is going to do with him in his own school now. So that's where it goes. And internationally, we want to be recognized. So we are there, you know. So we hope that there will be more workshops that we conducted and things like that. But because of the pandemic, if not, there will be a flow of us being going to internationally sharing our experience and things like that. And we also founded a Asia Swimming Teachers Organization.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So this is Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, Malaysia. So we actually can do something, because each country has their own style, own culture and things. So when we collaborate and we come and put into one, you know, there's a lot more ideas and things like that. So it's fantastic. And I think lastly is that educating all the different, not just age group itself, you know, all the, what do you call that, people with disability and all the babies. So more widespread on that part of it.
So they can just go to the Swimming Teaching Association of Malaysia's website
Yes.
to check out the certification courses? How
Yes.
does it work?
What we do is that at the current moment we are upgrading our website, and
Okay.
we are teachers, very good in teaching, but the website part, you know. So we try our best in as many as possible to do what we can. But the most important, we will please come and join us, our Aquatic Educator Certification Level 1. Because Level 1 is the one that you're going to teach more on the water safety. You can actually teach the kindergartens. Once you can enhance and get that skill, the rest is teaching stroke is not a problem anymore. Yeah.
Interesting. Any parting words for it?
Well, my passing word is swimming is really cool.
No, it is.
It is,
Because
it is.
it not only tones, it is a fantastic low impact exercise for people who are having joint problems, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I know how to swim, but it was only just before the pandemic where I reintroduced myself into swimming, and I loved it. And then the pandemic happened. And then I haven't been swimming in a while, so I don't know. After this, perhaps I need to
Come.
revisit again. Yeah.
Yeah, I did ask you to come along and
That's
try
right.
it out.
This
assessment.
level 1 certification. Anyone can do it, right?
No, we have prerequisite.
Oh, I
So
see.
you have to be able to swim 25 meters, freestyle, front crawl, backstroke, and breaststroke. But no need to be perfect, because once you take our course itself, you can actually correct your stroke
I see.
itself.
Okay.
And then, of course, you need to have prerequisite of bronze medallion and CPR. But I would encourage, if you are like, because we have a scale when you test your swim skill, right? We have a scale. So I also have trained one PE teacher. She's not a swimmer, but because she's so dedicated to learn, and because after our course itself, she enhanced, she improved herself. We won't give you a cert until you can actually swim the proper stroke again and provide all the necessary certificate to us. But so you see, there's this point comes. Last time when we are doing our volleyball coaching by a coach, the coach may not be a very good volleyball player, but he's very good in coaching. So same goes with this particular teacher itself. Doesn't know how to swim well, but she's a very good teacher, really fantastic teacher. Are we going to let this teacher goes off? She's a really good teacher. And these are the things. But nowadays children also different. Not like last time, teacher, you also do not hit the ball properly. Now, teacher, you also do not swim properly, you want to teach me. You can, different kinds of children nowadays,
That's
right?
right.
So at least you must have equipped.
Yeah, so key takeaway, there are no shortcuts. Thank you for watching, everyone. This has definitely been another interesting topic for it. Once again, the Life in the City podcast can be viewed on our YouTube channel at The Star Online and www.thestar.com.my/metro.